of government that is completely autonomous government that may allow these towns to grow at the level of any city. I mean, the size is up to 10 million inhabitants. And in the case of Honduras, the grounds are that by the year 2050, 2025, she corrects herself, the population is expected to increase. Today's population is 8 million, and it might be expected to grow to between 12 and 15 million inhabitants by that year. Also, people from outside will be brought to live in this region, but locals will be used as manpower. We believe that this is just a negative replication of a system that exploits workers and which subdues the population to economic slavery. The Honduras government embraced this idea and reformed the constitution so as to warrant foreign investment in the country. Before the coup d'etat, foreigners could not buy land on the shoreland, and they had to do so more than 40 kilometers away from the coast. These changes have been gradually made. They speeded up in that 6-month window so that they would be implemented later. Though government, Mr. Lobo's government is one that has been elected, it is the result of a faulted election, accompanied by corruption during the current government, of prior governments, and the coup d'etat. Here we want to underscore that if he dares amend the Constitution in favor of foreign investment and in order to create exclusion zones that will be autonomous in furtherance of social development, and considering that the initiative indicates that self-funding will come out of the rent on the land, and considering further that the government will not need to invest and allocate the taxes to providing locals with infrastructure, this all means that economists like Paul Romer know about the collection process, but this is always tied to the profit raised by a small group. This is what I wanted to share with you. The fact that this is not a utopia. I have always alleged the same. We just need the political will to be in place. Early on, I said that I was happy to be here because I had never had the opportunity to have so many Georgists from all over the world coming together. This is my first experience. Mine is, and yours is sometimes solo work. People feel like fainting and feel that change is not possible. However, change starts with ourselves. If we are able to change our thought structure, if we manage to realize that we are owners of our thoughts and our convictions, then we will be able to materialize these changes. This is so because everything that has to do with man, with human beings, is a result of an idea. And it is based on this idea of change and development that we have to work on. I mean, it is inside us and we need just to feed it. Thank you.
My question is the following. In what way these reforms affected your country during the coup d'etat as regards distribution of land, land value capture in the areas where Afro-descendants are living? Can you elaborate on that nationwide? Yes, I mentioned that there are some other Aboriginal groups, and poor populations are distributed on a 70% basis in rural areas, mountainous areas, and they were badly hit because it is the Atlantic littoral or coastline, the best productive lands ever in Honduras. At the same time, there's a process those premises, such as moves by the National Bureau of Agriculture, the National Bureau of Geographic Distribution of Land. So peasants who have formed co-ops, cooperative organizations, and I should say that in the 1980s, rural problems in Honduras were very sharp and acute. The Honduras, of course, at that time it seemed that the scenario was peaceful, but it wasn't peaceful. I mean, many people disappeared, no one could voice their own opinions, many people went into exile, nobody speaks about this dark side of our history, violations of human rights. And in last November, December, in that very same region, we have to create an observatory of human rights with foreign observers, representatives, and delegates from human rights institutions in order to neutralize or appease that situation where the military men are instructed by landowners to, of course, threaten and finally kill peasants. In fact, there were clashes in which 32 peasants were killed last year. And what about these repercussions?
Está puesto ahí. Generar este conflicto dentro de Honduras.
Creating this conflict within Honduras, does it has local as well as international repercussions? Is this a geopolitical move at international level? I mean, of course, my answer is yes, and this is my personal opinion based on my own perception. Number one, because Honduras has a long history of dictatorships and military governments, coup d'etats, much corruption. Over the last years, the American government and administration has interfered in the big industries being settled in Honduras. We are a banana republic. I mean, they called us Banana Republic because we were really producing bananas. And I was naive enough to think that when this process started on the way, I thought that it was influenced by the press because Manuel Zelaya was treated as a traitor because he was using the language of Chavez. But he was making changes in favor of the population. Yes, it was a political move, no doubt, because there's always the fear of having socialist governments, which in my opinion, of course, are in need of reviewing that terminology, because we are speaking about social changes. We have to match or conjugate social actions that may be geared to distributing wealth in the hands of few citizens. And of course, Hondurans, that move was unfavorable to the U.S. state. You know that Honduras is a country where we have the trafficking, we have opened the doors and gates to consolidate, for instance, the settlement of military bases. They are training military men, Honduran military men, and the Americans are training. So many people went into exile, and we have a constant flight of people emigrating from Honduras to the U.S. We translate into English, don't worry.
Audífonos no necesitan, ¿no? So, la pregunta de él es que Paul Rumor es simpatizante de la colecta de la renta y que es pues lo que yo pienso de parte
She's
de él.
She's repeating the translation into Spanish of your own question, so wait a second for the answer. My answer is the following. It is us, members of the society, to understand what the process is like. We are speaking about land value capture, land value taxation benefits. When we have understood that this is a core, fundamental factor for social conflict, because those who have the power to capture that land value are not going to give it freely. In our case, Honduras, the possibility of making changes designed for achieving such purpose require political will to make those necessary